Ready, Set, RC, back again today. And today we are doing the final thoughts of the Proline Pro MT 4x4 kit. Because this truck comes as a roller kit and you have to put your own electronics in, paint the body. This is not the body that comes with it, but it's the body that I decided to run with. So not in typical fashion are we going to do this how we normally do our final thoughts videos. And that's because the electronics is completely up to you. It's not the standard electronics that runs on here. So I won't be able to speak on every application that you can possibly put in here. What I will speak to is the power plant that we put in this truck and what we are currently running with today. So the topics in typical fashion that we do, the final thoughts, we have electronics, drivetrain, handling and suspension, durability, workability, support, and the opinionated parts of the discussion. Is it worth it? And would I buy it again? So to kick this off, for those of you who are not familiar with the Proline Pro MT 4x4, it is a 1/10 scale monster truck. As I was stating earlier in the video, this is a roller. It does not come with electronics. I will take off the body and show you guys some shots, but it does not come with electronics at all. The body that it comes with is a clear body. It's a monster truck, 1/10 scale monster truck. There's no licensing to it, and then you have to paint the body to your own specifications. So these are the wheels that come with it. These are the Proline Badlands MX 28s. These are the 17mm versions of them. So you're able to put these on any hexes of a 17mm kind. And that's what's on this truck. So, but these come with the truck. There's nothing you have to do in regards to it. As I was stating also earlier in the video, this body does not come with the truck. This is a body that I elected to put onto this truck. I've been having no problems with it. I bash it hard. It takes a beating. It does not create any type of high center of gravity when I run it. It runs well. The body is not a heavy body, even with this roll cage. I have no issues, guys. I have no issues running it. So for electronics, what we're running in here is a 1/8 scale system. So I'm running what would essentially come from an Yeti XL. It is a 1/8 scale system. It's basically the rebranded Castle Creations 1/8 scale system in here. It's a 2200 kV motor, 8 scale ESC, and it's a lot of power on this, guys. So I'm running that as the motor and the ESC, no problem with temps, but as I said, this is to my specifications, not so much what you can possibly run in this. You can definitely go ahead and install a 10th scale system, and I'm not sure of how that will or will not work for you depending on what you put in here. But for me, the 1/8 scale system, no problems whatsoever. Tons of power. In regards to the controller for this, once again, as I stated before, the electronics are not something that comes with this vehicle, so you could choose your own radio and receiver for this. That also goes with the servo. Currently we're running a Savox waterproof servo, the 1211 SG. In regards to the drivetrain, there is a front, center, and rear differentials. I had no issues with this truck whatsoever. Per the specifications directly from Proline, the manufacturer, if you're gonna run a 1/8 scale system on here with their 16-tooth pinion, they advise that you run a 1,000,000 weight diff oil on this truck. And that's what we're running in this truck. We have a 1,000,000 weight in the center diff. Have had no issues whatsoever with this truck and the weight that we're running with this. So the drivetrain, in regards to the drive shafts, the rear drive shafts, the front drive shafts, the center diff, the front diff, the rear diff, no problems whatsoever. No chewing up of gears, nothing whatsoever in regards to how this thing has been performing. It's been performing very well for us. Handling and suspension. So let's touch on this one for a little bit. With the handling of this, I can only speak on what I have done to this truck. So I went ahead, was communicating very closely with Rich Duper Bash in regards to extenders on here. So I have the team associated extenders similar to how Rich Duper Bash is running on his Proline 4x4. I've been running that from the beginning. I am having no problems since I've installed that on this truck. This truck is so stable, takes turns so well, and I have to say it has to come from those extenders that are on here, because I definitely am able to take turns, and this truck does not flip over. And I can go somewhere in between half throttle to 3/4 throttle, and this truck will not traction roll. It will stay hugged to the ground while I'm taking those turns. It handles extremely well, and I have to say it has to come back to the extenders on here. Now in stock fashion, I can't speak on that, but you guys can definitely see the track width between this and see how well that's working on. Now keep in mind, a lot of the issues that were going on with these first editions was that the Delrin in them was basically melting out. And what guys were doing was going ahead and putting the extenders, which was taking off that load and preventing those Delrins from melting out. I've had no issues with my Delrin meltings. So I'm gonna let you guys know that really quick in regards to the pillow balls on here. I've had none, no melting whatsoever. It has performed very well for me. But I will say on my last and final run of this truck, I did lose the metal pivot ball screw on this truck, and I had to order some up. I do not have them on as of this video, but I noticed it as I was cleaning this truck up for this video that I did lose one of the metal pivot ball screws, and I'll be replacing that very shortly. In regards to the suspension, otherwise on this truck, I've changed out the shock oil that's on here. I can't remember what the weight was. That's almost a little over a year since I've done that, but I'm having no problems with the shock oil that's on this truck. I did notice that when I did receive this truck, the shocks were leaking, so I ended up having to replace the oil, and I just did it all throughout. I want to say it was 50 weight, I can't remember, but whatever it was based on the stock specifications of this vehicle. Durability. Durability, and this one we're going to stay on again too, guys, for a little bit. Please keep in mind, this truck is the first gen of this vehicle. So another issue that I ran into was the servo saver just completely snapped, and the sway bars, mainly on the rear, not really much on the front, would just pop out. The Delrin issue I never had, and that's because I went with the extenders on the front. But guys had a lot of problems with them. I can't speak if this has been repaired or not repaired in regards to the later models of the Proline Pro MT 4x4, but I haven't experienced that problem, so I can't speak on that. What I can speak on is the servo saver that completely just shattered on me. At the time, Proline was already addressing this issue, and they sent me out a updated version of the servo saver. No issues whatsoever. At the same time, they were also releasing the metal servo saver. So I went ahead, put the metal servo saver on here, and have had no issues whatsoever with the servo on this truck. And lastly, on the sway bars, what I did was extend the sway bars out all the way to the most outer position on them, screwed it back in, locked it in with some Loctite. No issues on the sway bar in the rear. It has not popped off since that point. Durability has been pretty good on this truck. I've had no breaks, no snapping of A-arms, no snapping of anything whatsoever. This thing is held up like a tank. But I will say on mine, while I was ordering the metal servo saver for it, I also ordered the metal spur gear. Now, I did not have any issues with my spur gear whatsoever, but it was just another part. Since I'm running all this power in here, I wanted to change that out to a metal spur gear. So workability. This is one of the things I will say about this truck. It is a modular design where the front and the rear and everything comes out fairly neat and very easy to work on. But what I will say, with that small dog bone up in the front, and as you're taking off the front and working on it, can be a little bit of a fight up here in the front and working on the truck. I won't say it's impossible if you're new to working on RCs, but it is a little difficult, and it will take some time in working out the front end. But other than that, it's a very easy and clean layout. As you're putting in your receiver, you will need to think this through, because the gears and everything in this truck is so tight that you have to make sure that you're not running any wires near anything close to the spur and pinion on this truck. So you got to make sure your wires are nice and clean and tight on here. Support. As you guys know, with Proline, support's excellent with Proline. You have an issue, you either send them an email, you write them, start up a chat. They're very good in regards to responses and working out issues. When I had the issue with the servo saver, they had no issues in going ahead and sending out a brand new one to me. Excellent in working with Proline. I have no problems whatsoever in regards to the support side of working with them. Is it worth it? Now, this is the part where I'm very torn with this truck. Yes, it is a tank. It is a 1/10 scale monster truck. For a roller, I think the price is coming in somewhere around $400 for it. There's a lot of beefed up parts on this truck. And what I mean by that is that basing this on other 1/10 scale monster trucks out there, this is built more closely to a 1/8 scale monster truck, even though it's the size of a 1/10 scale. So there's a lot of value in that. But it's $400 for a roller with no electronics in there. And that's the part where, if there were not other monster trucks on the market, 1/10 scale, that have come out since this came out, my views on if it was worth it would be different. And that's where I have the problem. Originally, when this truck came out, the only truck that I would say that was even close, at least in our collection, was the Red Cat TRMT-10E. Size-wise, same structure. Build, very close. Actually, that one's running, if I can remember correctly, pillow balls in the front and in the rear. That's a very durable truck, and even that truck at the time was selling for $300, but it has a 1/10 scale power plant in it, without the ability of putting a 1/8 scale because of how everything is laid out. You just won't be able to fit a can that big in the TRMT-10E. The system that I have in here is capable of running at 6S. I only run this truck on 4S power. It's way too much to run this on 6S. It's just too much power for it to run it on 6S. 4S is about the max I have ever ran on this, and I feel that should ever be ran on this. I think anything else is just insane. For what I've seen of some of the other monster trucks that have come out since that, some of the trucks that came out in 2018 and the early portion of this year in 2019, I'm not sure if there is a true value at $400 for this truck because of those other monster trucks that are out there. And that's where I am with the is it worth it? This truck is a great truck, guys. It's a tank. But that $399, $400 price with no electronics makes it a tough one, a really tough one to sign off on. So then I come back to, would I buy this again? And that's where I can strongly say I probably would not buy this again, knowing what I know now. In 2017, when I first purchased this, yes, this was a great buy. There was nothing else out on the market. As I said, there was only the Red Cat TRMT-10 that I ever felt was even close to this. Knowing what I know now and knowing the other RCs that I've bought since then that have been released, I currently own the Arrma Sentin brushed edition, which I've converted over to brushless. I currently own the Big Rock 3S BLX. That truck is amazing. For what you get in that truck is amazing. And with that truck too, I did the wheel extenders. Just like this. And that truck stays planted, it's firm, no rollovers, nothing whatsoever once you do the wheel extenders. Yes, the Arrma has a ton more plastic, if not all plastic, compared to what you're getting on the Pro line. And there's a lot of value in what you're getting on the Pro line. But for what you bashers are doing out there, is this overkill? Is this something that at $400 for it, is it really worth it when you have to throw electronics in there and you're going to spend another $200 in electronics? And that's on the low end. Is it really worth it? And that's where I have a hard time of coming back and saying that yes, there is value in this, or I would buy this again. I love this truck. I think it's a great truck. I think the way that I have it set up right now, I think it's amazing looking. To have a basher that looks this scale and it drives amazing is a great thing. But at $399, are there better offers out there than this truck? Are there better options than this truck? And I have to say yes, which would prevent me as a consumer from buying it. And that's where I draw the line and I say I probably wouldn't buy this again. Not because I see anything wrong with this truck. I just see other trucks out there that can do what this truck is doing for a lot less. And it's a hard time for me to sign off and say that this is something that I would buy again. But that's it, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on Instagram for our latest post to the channel. This is Ready Set RC, signing out. Thanks again, guys.